O-zapft ist. Hallo liebe Freunde and welcome back to Get Germanized. Ich bin Dominik aka Meisterleser and today we're diving into a question that has been on everyone's mind recently. How much does it really cost to attend Oktoberfest? Let's go, lasst uns anfangen.
All on board, what should I do?
Ah, ich weiß.
Oktoberfest is one of the world's most famous festivals, but can also be an expensive one if you're not prepared. So let's break down the costs so that you can budget your trip and get the most out of it. Prost! Alright, let's start with the basics, getting to Munich. If you're flying into Munich from abroad, your biggest cost is probably gonna be the flight. Depending on where you're coming from, flights to Munich can vary widely. Of course, if you're flying from Europe, you might find flights as cheap as 50 to 100 euros with budget airlines. If you're coming from the US, you're looking at about 500 to 800 euros, and if you book late, probably even more. So it definitely pays to book your flight early to get the best deal. Flight costs. Within Europe, 50 to 150 euros or more. From the US, 500 euros to 800 euros plus. From Asia or Australia, 800 euros to 1200 euros plus. Next, let's talk about accommodation. Munich gets absolutely packed during Oktoberfest, and prices unfortunately reflect that. If you're staying in the city center or close to the Wiesn where the festival takes place, expect to pay a premium. Hotels can then cost anywhere from 200 to 500 euros per night for a basic room. If you're on a budget, hostels and Airbnb rentals are your friends, even though I expect them to raise the prices during Oktoberfest as well. You can also stay in the surrounding areas like Augsburg or Nuremberg where prices should be more reasonable. But keep in mind you will need a transport to get to Munich. So definitely also factor in the cost for the transportation. Transportation is probably best to take the Bahn, the trains, or the buses, or if you are lucky, a car, but don't park anywhere in Munich during Oktoberfest. It's a nightmare. Maybe find someone to drive you there if you're that lucky. Taxis are also expensive, but might be your best option here, at least compared to driving there yourself. Accommodation costs. Hotels, 200 to 500 euros plus per night. Hostels, 50 to 150 euros per night plus. Airbnb rentals, 100 to 300 euros plus per night. Camping options, 50 to 100 euros per night plus. Now, what about food and drink? Well, unfortunately, this is where Oktoberfest can really hit your wallet. Beer is served in 1 liter steins, and unfortunately prices can range from 12 to 16 euros and they get more expensive every year. Prices are per Maß, that is the Bavarian German term for 1 liter of beer. So if you're planning to enjoying a few beers, this can add up fast. As for food, you can expect to pay about 10 to 30 euros per meal. Depending on whether you go for traditional festival food like Bratwurst, Händel, a roast chicken, or Schweinshaxe, a pork knuckle. Food and drink costs. Beer per Maß, 12 to 16 euros. Meals, 10 to 30 euros. Snacks, pretzels, etc., 4 to 12 euros. There's of course also other expenses that you should factor in, such as souvenirs, transportation around Munich, maybe even the rental cost for a traditional Bavarian outfit. If you fully want to embrace the Oktoberfest experience, you definitely need a dirndl or lederhosen. Authentic outfits can cost anywhere from 100 to, well, probably about 600 euros plus. But there are also cheaper options at local stores. Public transport is relatively affordable though, with a day pass costing about 7 to 16 euros. Plus. I say plus all the time because prices can obviously vary. This is just an average. Other costs. Traditional clothing, dirndl, lederhosen, 100 to 600 euros plus. Public transport, day pass, 7 to 16 euros plus. Souvenirs, depends on how much you want to spend, but maybe 10 to 100 euros. So let's add it all up for a 3-day trip to Oktoberfest, including flight, accommodation and everything we talked about. You're looking at anywhere from 800 to 3,000 euros, depending on where you're coming from and how much you want to splurge. The cost summary, attending Oktoberfest. Flights, 50 to 3,000 euros plus. Accommodation, 3 nights, 150 to 2,000 euros. Food and drink per day, 40 to 100 euros plus. The outfit, which is optional, 100 to, well, 600 euros plus. The total for a 3-day trip, 800 to 3,000 euros plus. And there you have it. Oktoberfest can be as cheap or as expensive as you want it to be. But no matter what your budget is, it's always a good time. Just remember to plan ahead and book early to get the best deals. Speaking of best deals, you can become a patron of Get Germanized on patreon.com/getgermanized to get early access to videos every time and get a free PDF exclusive to the supporters that gives you added value for every lesson, every video that we put out. Check it out in the video description. I would highly appreciate your support. This helps to keep the channel alive. You can also subscribe, follow, comment, activate the bell, all the good stuff. Thank you very much for that. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.
We got the Autobahn speeding through the night. From Berlin to Bavaria, everything's just right. I'm with Dominic guiding, we're learning all we can. From culture to language, join the Germ fam. Cause Get Germanized, it's more than a vibe. Learning Deutsch, feeling so alive. I'm from castles to Oktoberfest, we dive into Germany's heart, we thrive.